Hello again, third grade, and welcome to lesson 4-3. We're going to use our multiplication facts to help us divide, and we're working on our facts. We're going to be working on our facts, with the numbers 6 and 7. So let's go ahead and take a look at our video for this week.
How do you divide with 6 and 7? Think about this question during the lesson. There are 48 dogs entered in a dog show. The judge wants 6 dogs in each group. How many groups will there be? What operation should be used to solve this problem? Divide to find how many groups. How do you know you should divide to solve this problem? The judge wants to have an equal number of dogs in each group, so the total number of dogs should be divided equally to find how many groups there will be. What number times 6 is 48?
Select your answer.
All right, now we know our 6 and 7's facts, and we know that 6 times 8 is 48, so 8 times 6 is also going to be 48.
Now that you found the multiplication sentence, what is the division sentence? There will be 8 groups. Why do you use multiplication to help you divide? Multiplication and division are opposite operations. When you multiply, you combine equal groups to find the total. When you divide, you take the total and separate it into equal groups. What other operation could you use to solve this problem? You could use subtraction. You could subtract 6 from 48 8 times. Another dog was entered. There will now be 7 dogs in each group. How many groups will there be now? What number times 7 is 49?
Select your answer.
Now that you found the multiplication sentence, what is the division sentence? There will be 7 groups. Why are there fewer groups when there are 49 dogs signed up? There will be 7 groups. The number of dogs in each group increased from 6 dogs to 7 dogs. If you increase the size of the group, you will decrease the number of groups. Now you know how to multiply with 6 and 7.
All right, now that we've finished working on our video, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our notes before we dive into our guided practice. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen so that you guys are able to see our notes for today. Now, for lesson 4-3, we're going to use multiplication, like we just said, to divide with the numbers 6 and 7. So I wrote out my 6 multiplication facts 1 to 10. I wrote out my 7 multiplication facts 1 to 10 as well. Remember, use the facts that you know and what you learned about fact families to help you solve the division questions. So go through your facts, write them down, review them, practice them daily. Now, one example question that I gave you that is very similar to the questions that you're going to be working with on your independent practice is to find the missing numbers to complete each fact family. Now over here, my question is 12 divided by 2 equals something, and I need to find out what that quotient is. What is my answer going to be? So first I want to think, what number times 2 is equal to 12. So work backwards. Remember, use your multiplication facts, use what you know about fact families. So 12 divided by 2 is equal to a number. Think, what number times 2 is going to be equal to 12? Now I know from over here, something times 2 is equal to 12. Here I can see that 6 times 2 is equal to 12. So I'm going to show my work. I know that 6 times 2 is equal to 12, so I'm going to go ahead and put it into my equation. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve. If 6 times 2 is equal to 12, I know that 12 divided by 2 is equal to 6 because, always defend your answer, because they are part of the same fact family. Now remember, if you're not sure, use repeated subtraction to help you solve. So over here, I used repeated subtraction to figure out what 12 divided by 2 is equal to. So I did 12 and I took out groups of 2 as many times as I could. So 12 minus 2 is 10, 10 minus 2 is 8, 8 minus 2 is 6, 6 minus 2 is 4, 4 minus 2 is 2, and then 2 minus 2 is 0. And I was able to do that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So now I know that 12 divided by 2 is going to be equal to 6. Now let's go ahead and work on our guided practice together. So for our guided practice, number 1 asks, how can you tell without dividing that 42 divided by 6 will be greater than 42 divided by 7? So how do you know that 42 divided by 6 will be greater than 42 divided by 7? So let's stop and think. When I'm breaking something into groups, I'm sharing with a certain number of people. So if I have, for example, 42 cookies that I wanted to share between 6 people, or those same 42 cookies that I wanted to share between 7 people. So if you're dividing by a greater number, your quotient or your answer is going to be smaller. This group of people is going to get more cookies than this group of people because we have to share them with more people. So even if you think of it like a pie, when you're cutting it up, you're going to have to cut it into more pieces. So I know that when I divide by a greater divisor, my quotient will be smaller. Okay, and you can use anything as a tool to show how this works. So I'm going to show you with some of my pens. So if, for example, I have 6 pens over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? And I want to divide them between 2 people. So I'm going to split them into 2 equal groups. If I split them into 2 equal groups, each person will get 3 pens, right? 1, 2, 3 here, 1, 2, 3 here. Now that would be if I was doing 6 divided by 2. So I'm going to write this down on a sticky note for you guys so that you guys are able to follow. Now, if I did 6 divided by 2, we said each person, those 2 people, right, are each going to get 3 pens. 3 pens for this person, 3 pens for that person. But what if I wanted to take my pens and I wanted to split them between 3 people? So I'll start putting them into 3 equal groups. Now I can see, so if I pull out a little bit so that you guys can see, we'll zoom out just a touch. I can see over here, if I put it into 3 equal groups, each person now has 2. So in the beginning, when I did 6 divided by 2, each person got 3 pens. When I did 6 divided by 3, each person got 2 pens. The bigger this number is, the bigger your divisor is, the smaller your quotient is going to be, the less each person is going to get because you're splitting it between more people. So this is true for all numbers. So if I was dividing, again, I'll show you guys, I have 6 pens. If I want them in 2 equal groups, each person gets 3 pens. If I want them in 3 equal groups, each person will only get 2 pens because I have to share it more often and with more people. So the greater your divisor, the smaller your quotient. Let's take a look at number 2. Number 2 says, how can 8 times 6 equals 48 help you to divide 48 by 6? So we know 8 times 6 is equal to 48. I already know those numbers are part of a family. How can it help us divide 48 divided by 6? So I know these numbers are related and part of a fact family. If 8 times 6 is equal to 48, then 48 divided by 6 is equal to 8. So here's my missing number. I'm going to go ahead and fill it in. So I answered it, I showed my work, I explained my answer. For numbers 3 to 8, it says write the related multiplication fact and find each quotient. So you're doing 2 things. You're not just putting the answer. Make sure you guys are paying close attention to the instructions, always, always. So we have 36 divided by 6 equals a number. So over here, I need to figure out the other part. What number times 6 is equal to 36? So you can go back over here if you don't remember. What number times 6 is equal to 36? I see that 6 times 6 is equal to 36. Or if you have these memorized, as you guys should, you will already be able to fill in the answer. So 36 divided by 6, 6 times 6 is equal to 36. For number 4, it says a number is equal to, so a number is equal to 42 divided by 6. So our fact that's related is something times 6 is equal to 42. Oops, I forgot to write in my 6. A number times 6 is equal to 42. Again, you can go back to your facts, but if you know 6 times 6 is 36, plus another group of 6 is going to get you to 42. So 6 times 7 is 42. So if 6 times 7 is 42, that means 42 divided by 6 is going to be equal to 7. For number 5, we're going to go ahead and continue doing the same thing. We had 42 divided by 7 is equal to something. So that means something times 7 is equal to 42. Now this is just like the question that we did before. We're just using the other fact. So if we know 7 times 6 is 42, that means 6 times 7 will also be 42, which means 42 divided by 7 will be equal to 6. Again, fact families. Draw them out if you're not sure. They're super helpful. 6, 7, 42. 6 times 7 is 42. 7 times 6 is 42. 42 divided by 6 is 7. 42 divided by 7 is 6. Number 6 says a number is equal to 18 divided by 6. So a number is equal to 18 divided by 6. So I want to think, what number times 6 is going to be equal to 18? Or 6 times what number is equal to 18? I know my facts, so I know 3 times 6 is equal to 18, or 6 times 3 is equal to 18. So that means 18 divided by 6 is going to be equal to 3. Again, here's my facts. 18, 6, and 3. Number 7 Now for number 7 and number 8, they wrote their division the other way with the division bridge. So I'm going to make my division bridge over here, and I have 24 divided by 6. So I need to figure out what times 6 is equal to 24 to find my related multiplication fact. So I can flip back over here and I can see which one is equal to 24. I can see that 6 times 4 is equal to 24. So over here, that means 4 times 6 is equal to 24. And I write my 4 up here as part of my quotient. And number 8. Again, it's written similarly with the division bridge. Remember, your dividend goes under the bridge, your whole number goes under the bridge. This is your division symbol. And the number you're dividing by goes on the outside. So 30 divided by 6. So that means something times 6 is equal to 30. So you can skip count by 6 until you get there. You can look at your multiplication facts. If you have them memorized, you already know that 5 times 6 is equal to 30. So 30 divided by 6 is going to be equal to 5. That takes you through the end of your guided practice. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful day, 3rd grade. Take care. Bye-bye.